Hello there. Happy Friday. Today is May the 1st, 2020. And we are continuing with this quarantine. Hopefully everyone out there is staying healthy, smart, and entertained. This has been a great time for me personally to tune in to myself and kind of finish things I had put on the bookshelf and let collect dust. Maybe you're finding the same thing, that this extra time is making you dive inward a little bit more. So with that being said, I like to start off by reading our intention. I'm going to read an intention for the whole month of May. And feel free to just listen and enjoy. So today's May 1st. Dedicate the month of May for your personal growth. Stay on the path of becoming a better human being. Stay disciplined. Take care of yourself and ignore outside noise. It's easy to get distracted by others who are not on the same path. You can only take care of others when you can first take care of yourself. Synchronistic that this is something I wrote in my journal and had a couple experiences bring me and lead me to that. But anyway, take the month of May to work on yourself, and you are the most important person in your own life. So with that, let's let that be your intention and start to work on the body. Today's workout, I won't call a workout, it's more of a relaxation session. We're going to work on opening up our shoulders a little bit more. I have noticed myself personally start to round my back as we're sitting more often. We're just starting to round and stoop forward, round those shoulders, and maybe there's pain in the back of your neck. I've had pain in the back of my neck from sleeping funky a couple of nights, and so we're going to stretch out the neck, the shoulders, maybe a little bit in the hips as well. All right. Also, the second part of today's class, I'm going to show whoever has at home a foam roller and how to use it. Foam rollers are great to help release muscle tension. Think of it like a massage. So you use it on major muscle groups, primarily on the back, on your hips, to help I like to think of it as ironing out the muscles. It helps lengthen the tissue and it helps increase flexibility. So stay tuned for the second part of class. We're going to do a little foam rolling. But for now, let's find ourselves on our hands and our knees. Okay. We're going to take it nice and easy and bring your hips back towards your heels. Stretch your arms in front of you. Look down at the ground and look forward at your fingertips. Exhale, bring your forehead to the mat. Inhale, lift your head, look forward at your fingers. Exhale, forehead to mat. Inhale, lift your head up. Exhale, come down one more time. Inhale, push up into your tabletop position. We'll take 3 big circles in the hips in each direction. Good. Back to a neutral spine. Now you're going to look straight in front of you, look ahead. As you do this naturally, your back will arch up a little bit, and you're going to breathe in. As you exhale, you're going to tuck your chin naturally around your spine, looking at your belly button or through your legs. And repeat. Inhale, looking forward or up. Exhale, looking at belly button or through the legs. Inhale, arching your back. Exhale, rounding your back. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round down. Good. Come back to your neutral spine. Take your right arm, reach it high towards the ceiling. You're going to look up at your fingertips if you can. Spread your fingers wide. Good. You feel that nice stretch in the shoulders. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, thread the needle. Right arm goes onto the left. Right ear comes down onto the mat. So your hips should be stacked over your knees. And if you'd like to stretch out in front of the left shoulder, take your left hand and bring it to your right hip crease or your low back. Slow down, take 5 deep breaths here. Good, gently unwind. Press that left hand down into the mat as you come back up into your tabletop. Good. Now before we switch sides, we're going back to your child's pose. Arms are straight. Bring your forehead down to the mat and exhale out. Lift your head up. Look at your fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, forehead down to the mat. Inhale, lift your head up. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Good. Come up to your tabletop. 3 circles in the hips with each direction. And then we'll go through 3 or 4 cat and cows. You're going to find your neutral spine. And then you're going to raise your left arm up towards the sky. Twist open. Look up if you can. And spread your fingers here. Good. Take a breath in. As you exhale, take your left hand, bring it onto your right, thread the needle. Left ear comes down onto the mat. Option to bring your right hand to your low back or your left hip crease. Or stay for 5 deep breaths. Gently unwind. Press up into your table. Okay. Last time we're going to cycle through into your child's pose. Arms are straight. As you exhale, forehead to mat. Inhale, look at your fingertips and lift your head. Exhale, forehead down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift up. One more time, exhale, forehead to mat. With your next inhale, press up into table. 3 circles with your hips in each direction. Good, and let's do 3 cat and cows. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Good, from here, we're gonna lift our hips, tuck your toes, and find a downward facing dog. Take some time to stretch the back of your hamstrings and your heel by lifting and lowering the heel one at a time and bending the knee as well. Notice how close or how far your heels are from touching the mat, and aim to bring them a little bit closer each time. Good, come to a still down dog, take a breath in. As you exhale, lower your knees down to the mat. Good. From here, you're going to bring your belly and your chest all the way down with control. And find yourself in a cobra or sphinx position with your elbows supporting yourself and your chest off of the mat. Go ahead and just look straight ahead. Take 3 deep breaths in and out. Good. And now from here, bring your hands under your shoulders. Good. We're going to do little pushes into the mat. Listen to your back. If it starts to hurt you, you may want to ease off and go back just to original position here with elbows under shoulders and holding. If it's okay, you can maybe press up halfway or fully, your call. All right, so start down low. Take a breath in as you are here. Exhale, press up. Good, inhale, lower. Exhale, press up. Good, inhale, lower. Exhale, press up. Good, stay here if you're willing and look over each shoulder. After you've done that, gently lower back down, belly to ground. Good. Let's bring elbows under shoulders again. Good. Now we're going to lift your feet. And we're going to alternate kicking one at a time. Maybe gentle taps to the ground. Good. Go ahead and bend both knees now. And just to test our flexibility, see if you can take your left hand, reach it to your left heel or ankle. Good. Maybe you can grab it, maybe you can't. If you can grab around your ankle, go ahead and do so and gently pull your foot in closer towards your glutes. This will give you a nice stretch in your quads. If you can't, just stay here and keep trying and lifting. Let's take 3 deep breaths wherever you are. Good. Let's release and go for the other side. So right knee is bent, right hand reaches back. Maybe you grab your foot, maybe you don't. Keep trying either way, as this is good to test and to work towards this position. And stay here in 3 deep breaths. Good. Gently release. Good. We're going to tuck our toes now. And we're going to practice keeping our chest off of our mat and bringing your arms behind you like a flying Superman or Superwoman. Good. So your chest is actively lifted off your mat. Your palms are facing down towards the ground. You're squeezing those shoulders. Yes, we're working a little bit. We're here just for a couple more seconds. See if you can lift a little bit higher. 3, 2, 1. Good job. You can cross your arms and now bring your forehead down to the mat or your forearms. Now the same way we lifted your upper body, we're now going to do the same for the legs. So feel free to keep your forehead at your hands because this is actually going to help you lift your lower half up. Forehead against your arms. And then you're going to squeeze your glutes. See if you can lift your legs, keeping them straight. Maybe a little bend is okay. You want to try and lift your knees off the mat as well. Good job. Keep holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Nice work. We're going to stay here. Bring your right ear to your mat and your arms to your sides. Now bending at the knees, we're going to sway left to right, right to left. We're going to tee your arms out, and now we're going to twist in your lower half. So your left hip will stack on top of your right hip, and your left leg will go beyond the right leg. Both palms of your hands should be against the floor. Feeling a nice stretch in the front of the right shoulder, maybe your spine. An option to bring your left hand to your low back as well. 5 deep breaths. Good. Gently release back to center, bringing your left ear to the mat now. Arms by your sides, bending at the knees and swaying left to right. Go ahead and tee your arms out wide. Stack your right hip on top of your left. 5 deep breaths. Good, and then you're gonna come back to center. Prop yourself up on your elbows one more time. So from here, you can take any stretch that you'd like in this position. One stretch I'm gonna show you, and you can do if you like, is to reach for both legs and go for bow pose. Bow pose is awesome in helping open up the chest a little bit more, the front of the shoulder. It also helps stretch the legs. If you can't reach fully and you have tried, all you're gonna do is just fly. I call this one flying squirrel. So you're reaching for your feet, your knees are bent, your palms face down, your chest is lifted. We're holding here. Still getting a nice stretch in the chest. Option B is to grab around your ankles, press your feet into your hands, lift up, knees and chest included. More here. Either way, find your position and hold for 5 deep breaths. Good. When you're done, press yourself up and back into a child's pose. And take 5 deep breaths there. Good, slowly rise. All right, and now we're gonna come back into your down dog, pedaling out your feet. Maybe bring your heel a little bit closer to the mat this time. Good. From here, your right leg will lift, and you're gonna bring knee towards your right wrist and lower down to the ground. You're gonna bend that right knee to make sure your heel of that right foot is close to your left pelvic bone. Positioning yourself for pigeon. You're gonna lengthen that back leg, maybe even untuck your toes. We're getting a nice deep stretch here in the front of the left hip flexor. So for some, it feels better to stay upright. For others, it feels better to go down. You choose what feels best for you and stay there for 5 breaths. If for any reason your knee hurts in this position, go ahead and drop onto your right hip and take a little less intense of an approach, still leaning over the right knee. All right, from here, you're gonna tuck your back toes, lift up, find your downward dog again. Pedal on your feet. Then we're gonna lift left leg up. Good, bring your left knee towards your left wrist and bring it down to the mat. The foot of your left leg will be close to your right pelvic bone. And then you're gonna lengthen that right leg, maybe even untuck your toes. Good. Find the best position with the least amount of pain in the joints and the most amount of stretch. And stay there for 5 deep breaths. All right, from here, tuck your back toes, lift your right leg, find downward dog one last time. Maybe your heels can touch the ground now that you're stretched out a little bit more, warmed up. And then we're going to lower down with control. Good. Finding ourselves on our backs. All right. From here, knees to your chest. Option to rock side to side. Bringing your feet flat now, right ankle to your left knee for a nice hip stretch. We're going to externally rotate that right hip, pressing your knee away from you actively. First phase is here. Second phase is actually lifting your leg off the ground, but maintaining that external rotation of the right hip. Option to stay here or to even lengthen that left leg all the way up, maybe even grabbing behind the thigh. Gently release that side and switch it out. Left ankle to right knee. Again, externally rotating that left hip, pushing the knee away from you actively. Option to stay or to lift the leg. Don't compromise by bringing your hip in. Keep pressing out. Option to stay here or to extend the leg, grabbing behind the thigh. Here we get the most stretch out of the three options. Got it. Gently come back down. All right. So, if you have a foam roller at home, now is the time to grab it. If you don't have a foam roller, now is a good time to take Shavasana. And you can definitely stay in Shavasana while I'm explaining one or two things with our foam roller. Okay. I do love my foam roller. It's an awesome thing to have. I personally love stretching and rolling out my back and my hips most of the time. So since we're in this position and we just stretched our hips, I'm going to show you how to stretch them with the foam roller. You're going to need to actually sit up first. And it's a little bit of a balance act initially. You'll get used to it. But you want to have a seat on top of your foam roller and lean back so your hands are on the back. Good. So you could definitely roll your glutes. It helps to drop your knees to one side or the other. That way you get more tissue versus bone. But it also helps, just like we did on the ground, to cross ankle to opposite knee. And the reason being is because it helps open up certain deep tissues that are not accessible when our legs are just next to each other. So let's try crossing ankle to knee and dropping knee to one side and rolling up and down. Now, if you've done my other classes and you remember doing trigger point, this is something similar to what we've done with our tennis balls. In relation to the tennis ball, foam roller is way less intense, but it still gets a really nice stretch for major muscle groups. The more you drop your knee towards the roller, also the deeper the stretch will be. Nice. Since we're working on hips, let's Let's do a little bit stretch for the calves. So the way I like to stretch my calves on the roller is by bending one knee. Again, my hands are behind. I'm gonna lift my hip up and I'm just gonna roll my calf up and down on the foam roller. Good. Make sure your foot is relaxed, that you're not tense by pointing your toes up. Point them out away from you. And then notice how it feels when you kind of roll out to the right or your foot is turned out to the right. You get different muscles versus turning your foot inward and to the left. So based on where your foot is turned, you're accessing different points. Good. So obviously you're going to do that on both sides. Turning your foot out, moving through center, and then turning your foot in. Good. You can also do this for the back of your legs. It's a little more challenging because yes, we're stretching our legs, but we're also working our upper body and our core at the same time. So you have to have a good amount of upper body strength in order to really get a good roll going. Nice. You can also stretch out your IT band by coming onto your side. Your bottom leg is straight, your top knee is bent and flat against the ground. Both my hands are on the mat. And I'm just rolling my IT band all the way from the greater trochanter of my hip, or the large bony prominence, the widest part of the hip, all the way down to the side of the knee. Don't go across the kneecap or the side of the knee, because that's mostly just ligamentous connective tissue. Even though IT band is technically connective tissue as well, it attaches to a muscle up higher. So your best bet is to be somewhere close to the widest part of your hip, and you're really going to feel it there if you do it right. Okay, obviously you want to do the same thing on the other side. For today's purposes, I want to move on. And my last but favorite place to use my foam roller is on my back. I do this pretty much every day. So the way to get there is to bring your elbows to the foam roller, step one. That's about where you want to keep the foam roller on your mid-back. Step two is to make sure your head is supported. Really important here. Good. So your hands are under your head. My fingers are interlaced. You can do that as well. And then once you're ready, you're going to lift your hips off of the mat and start to roll anywhere from about C7 to T12. Now, you'll get a little bit more out of it if you point your elbows up towards the ceiling, because again, it helps open up muscles that are generally covered when the elbows are wide. So pointing your elbows up gets those muscles behind your scapular region. And notice how I'm kind of keeping my whole body flat. You're not rounding or arching your back. You're not curling your back. Think of a flat surface. You want to be as flat as you can. And you're going to take it nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Good. Oops. So, yeah, love doing that on the back. If you're lucky, you'll get a couple of pops. If you look at my back, you want to, again, be working from C7, which is about here, to T12, which is about here. You don't want to go above C7 because it's going to be really hard for such a big roller to get into those small cervical bone structures or in between them. And then you don't want to go into the lower lumbar region with the foam roller, because actually, even though it might feel good, it could potentially dislocate, separate, and do bad things that have a long time to fix. So yeah, you could get a slip disc or some kind of a out of placement. Technical term is in mind. So avoid lumbar region. Everywhere else is okay. One more thing with the foam roller, since we're on it and we're working on the spine is to bring it all the way vertical. So the last position was horizontal. Now I'm bringing it vertical. This one is my favorite, the best one to start with. I should have done this first, but I'm doing it last. So it's along the whole length of my spine. It's supporting my head all the way down to my sacrum. My legs are nice and wide, supported, and here I'm free to drop my arms wide into the ground. Now you don't have to move. If you want, you could move a little left to right. But the point here is not necessarily to stretch anything or roll anything out actively. This is a very passive move where once you lay down, you stretch your arms out. Gravity's going to help you, and it's going to help take over the stretch. If you're doing it with me, you're going to notice to start to feel the front of your chest open up wide. Maybe you want to turn your head a little bit side to side. This is a great way to determine how flexible you are in your chest. Some folks, when they're really tight in the anterior part of their upper body, their elbows have a hard time making contact with the ground. So if you're one of those people, just take note of that and do this more often if you have the chance. If your arms comfortably fall down, that's great, but still good to do. Every day we want to be doing moves in the position that we want to continue forward. So if we're rounding our spine every day, we're going to stay rounded, right? Like our parents always say, don't cross your eyes, they're going to stay that way. The move that we do every single day with repetition will be the move that we keep for life. So if you want to undo those rounded shoulders, rounded back, painful necks, this is one great way to do it very easily. Where to buy these? I mean, you can order them online. Target even has them. Differences in colors. The black ones are the most firm. Blue is medium and white is the softest. I recommend blue or black because they'll soften up over time. Okay? All right. If you have any more questions or want to know more about foam rolling, just send me an email or give me some feedback because I definitely have more knowledge about it, but for today I want to be done for those who have not had the chance to foam roll. If you're in your Shavasana, please start to come out of it. You got an extra long one today. And I like to finish class the same way I started, by just reminding you of what to set your intentions to for the month of May. And of course, you have the option to take it in or to not take it in, but I always like to offer my intention as it helps me move forward and possibly others as well. So dedicate the month of May for personal growth. Stay on the path of becoming a better human being. Stay disciplined. Take care of yourself and ignore outside noise. It's easy to get distracted by others who are not on the same path. You can only take care of others when you first take care of yourself. So dedicate yourself to personal growth for the month of May. I hope you're all doing that as I'm trying to do the same. Thanks for joining me. Please email me or leave some comments if you have any. And as always, I appreciate your attendance. Thank you very much. Namaste.